Okay, hello, 2026. We have Bill Lankford here. How are you, Bill?
I'm pretty good considering, Mike. Yeah,
Yeah,
I have felt better, but I'm doing okay. Yeah, thanks.
good. Well, if you haven't, I know the swim run community, Bill has definitely had some support, and he's got a story to tell for sure. And it's not necessarily on the podcast. We're always very positive and you know, good times. But occasionally things happen that aren't good times, and we're going to have a little focus on that a little bit. And of course, we'll talk some swim run races and gear and usual good chat. But we've got to talk about the truth as well, and things that might help people in the future. So, without saying too much, Bill, what what's the story? What happened to you last year?
Well, it's a good intro, Mike. I mean, it's a very important subject, and if I pick it up, we'd had a really good start to 2025. So we'd begun with the Eliminator. We did St Austell, Hokey Cokey. We did Keener's Mustard, Grapham, Nene Valley. We did Wales. Actually came eighth team home in Wales. That was a good race for us.
Oh.
And then we went to Urtala in Åland, in Finland, and that's really where my saga of the latter part of 25 picks up.
Right. Okay.
You have to. I've just got to let the dog out, Mike.
I did. Okay, yeah. No, let the dog out. Let the dog out. Yeah. No, that's important. We can't have the dog getting bored of my voice and yours.
Yeah.
So, Ireland. So that was mid-August. It sounded like great. You had a lot of races, and then mid-August over to Finland, ready to go. And how did the race go before?
Yeah, do you know? I mean, Mike, we had a fantastic week. So we met up with the West Side swimrunners in Stockholm. We met up with some Onvold guys in South Stockholm, and then made our way to about 2 hours up to the port to get over to the Åland Islands. And it's just the most amazing course. It's beautiful, demanding. Probably at least as remote feel as the World Champs course, and lots of transitions. And if you like sea swimming, it's about 10k of sea swimming in that.
Wow, yeah.
Really
No, it does look good, and yeah. Okay.
So I don't know how they measure the course. It was scheduled to be 49k in total. I mean, my watch paused. You know, sometimes the Garmin's pause on your wrist. I had 51, and I think most of the teams I spoke to had 53, 54k. It's a long day and some very, very tough terrain. Actually, pretty.
Okay.
Some pretty tricky stuff in the forest. Quite soft sphagnum moss underfoot. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
As well as the more traditional hard Nordic rocks, slippery stuff. Yeah. Precipitous entrance and exits out. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. It did sound like a good one.
It was. I mean, we were a bit nervous, Mike. Because I got to say, after about 4 hours, we'd only done something ridiculous like 15k of the course.
Right.
So the start is really demanding, and I was very concerned we were going to struggle to get around. I mean, actually, we were 26 teams, so there were another 13 or so teams finished behind us, and there's a couple of DNFs as well.
Right.
So we had quite a good run, but it took us over 10.5 hours.
Wow.
Do it. Yeah. Okay. So it is a demanding event, and great as it is, it's quite close to the Worlds, isn't it? So I think would be quite something to do that and then do the Worlds.
Yeah. It need another week really to make it definitely. Well, anyway, yeah, okay. So after that, what happened?
Yeah. So I've been back home about a week, and I started to feel like I had a cold coming on. And you rationalise it. Well, we've been flying. You've got the stress of a tough event. Not a big surprise that you feel a bit under the weather. And that went on into 2 weeks, and I'm thinking it's getting a bit worse. So have I got a flu? Maybe I've got did a COVID test. It's negative. And I was feeling pretty ropey. I went to the GP, and he thought it might be Lyme's disease because of what we do. Plenty
Right.
of outdoor stuff. Because of the nature of the events, you've got quite a lot of skin unprotected.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to hospital in Cambridge, and they thought, yeah, okay, this is plausible. Here's a 4-week course of antibiotics. Catching it early, this is going to work. This is going to work great. And so I came back home very optimistic, and then a couple of days after that, I started to get the most horrendous headaches. So I'd had flu-type symptoms, but this is like a pounding inside, like an alien trying to force its way out of your head. So,
Oh my God.
I couldn't sleep more than about 20 minutes at a time. I was
Right.
talking to myself, thinking, I want this to stop. This is really, really unpleasant. And do you know, if you, all of us, if you've had quite a flu or COVID, you feel ropey for weeks, but the day comes when you suddenly feel, now I'm good. Well, I was waiting for that day, and the problem is that it's 5 months gone, and I'm still waiting for that day to come when you wake up and think, bang, today's normal. So this headache, so it's a couple of days, and then I start to have problems with my balance. So I'm in short order starting to having to hang on to things, lean on the wall and stuff to get around. And unsurprisingly, I ended up in hospital. The day I went in, I went to walk the dogs in the morning, and I couldn't move my feet properly. So didn't have proper connection. So, I knew something was very seriously wrong, but you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. And initially, the hospital didn't have any idea either.
Jeez.
So what I'm gonna tell you, I mean, this is not a disease we really have a lot of experience of in the UK. So they were a bit flummoxed. This is not how Lyme's disease presents, particularly not if you've started the antibiotics. And well, anyway, I'll find myself in hospital. I'm IV'd up, just on antibiotics, antifungals, antivirals, morphine. And actually, I'm quite relaxed. It'd been very scary for a day or so, and then inside I was pretty confident that things were going to get sorted. And they screened for everything. So genuinely, I've been tested from everything from AIDS to Zika.
Wow.
Every disease that they could possibly blood test for.
God.
And in amongst that, there's viruses that are just coded. There's no common name for them, and that. So my NHS My Chart, if you've ever seen them, it's got enough data to have its own social media account. It's just reams and reams and reams of results, but they were all negative.
Right.
So, nothing that they look for gave them a hint of where it was going. And this is just it's skill set of the job, isn't it? It just happens that when the detective skills of one of the consultants, when they go through all of your background, they start to hunt further back and about the travel plans. And he just made the connection that you've been to Sweden and Finland. It's not any of these like 200 other things. It's highly likely to be tick-borne encephalitis virus. So this is I might call it TBE, which is the
Okay.
the acronym for it.
Right.
So yeah, it's now at this point the reason I've got all these nasty symptoms, and I'm not very well at all, not going anywhere, is because it crosses the blood-brain barrier.
Right.
Which is pretty unusual. So I mean that's what we have a highly developed defense mechanism against anything getting into the brain or the spine, and most organisms cannot, even pathogenic ones can't get across it, but this particular virus can, and that then triggers the your own immune system that you have inside the brain, which is where you get the swelling and then the head symptoms. And the virus is reproducing in neurons, so it's using your own cell machinery to replicate, and then emerging, blowing the neurons apart, and then you get some neurological consequences because of this. So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we are. So at this point, it's supposition that it's TBE because they can't easily test for it because it's inside your brain. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's very likely to be TBE, but you can't test for it. Okay.
Well, they can, but then that brings in a more complication because the way to get a sample is they have to take a spinal tap. So they take. Don't look at the needle. They get the most horrific apparatus that I sort of looked at once and then just ignored, and they feed in this device to pull out cerebral spinal fluid,
right?
Which is a reflection of your fluid that's traveling around your brain and spine.
Okay,
and that then they sent away to be tested.
So they have done that, have they?
They have done that, and and read into it what you will. The only lab in the UK that tests for this is Portland Down.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, I've come out of it without the very worst sequelae of this, but the lab at Portland Down rang the consultant when they'd done the testing to confirm it was TBE, to say it's the highest ever titer of virus they've ever seen.
Wow.
So, yeah. Which is it? So my consultant was very excited about this. He thought it was great. But you're still here. And,
so so it is TBE. Yeah. It's been confirmed. What have you been having some treatment, or what do you do?
Well, I mean, I think that's the tricky thing, Mike, and I think why it's such an important subject for swim runners, or I mean anyone who's in the outdoors, and particularly in areas of high risk, because so everyone who gets hospitalized, as I did, so if it does cross the blood-brain barrier, and it may not, I mean, if you're very young, you may be able to knock it out before it gets into your gets into the blood-brain barrier. But everyone then suffers some kind of neurological issues at least for midterm, so 3 to 6 months, and probably about 70% of people get over it in 18 months. The symptoms. So these are chronic fatigue. So I'm struggling now. Short-term memory loss, particularly.
Right. Okay.
Difficulty concentrating. Struggling with fast-moving images.
Right.
Coordination problems, that kind of thing. So a range of neurological issues that will arise from it. Yeah.
Okay, and you're still getting those now. Sometimes
It's I mean, it's improving for me. So I'm kind of. I mean, obviously there are. I mean, you can't undercook it. You can die from this. You know,
Right.
that's it's sort of butt ended with case fatality. You could be paralysed with it. So when I came out, I mean, I had uh, like tremors. See, the nerve damage, which seems to have fixed itself. I had tremors in my face, legs, like, which is all, you know, it's all a bit scary. It's all a bit scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that seemed to settle quite fast. So I had like, there's 18 documented symptoms. I had 14 of them when I came out, and you kind of knock them out as you go. So over 3 months, most of those disappear. So I'm left. Chronic fatigue is still a problem for me.
Okay.
So I kind of hit a wall of fatigue at some point every day. Concentrating, memory is still quite tricky.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
it's pretty serious. And
Yeah.
I mean the strange the thing is with us me, Chris, Rhiannon, and Gaz doing One Water Race. Chris got a message from a friend of his in Sweden a few months, I don't know when it was, but before One Water Race, and said, get this TBE vaccine because of what it is. We didn't know any, as yourself, never heard of it. Chris told everyone because of where we're going. He said, yeah, all the Swedish teams will have this. This only came from one of Chris's friends, so I had actually, only because of that, heard of it. Well, I still didn't think about it. I was on the boat. I didn't actually get it because I was on the boat pretty much all the time. But the other guys did get the vaccine. But yeah, and then I heard what happened to you. I was like, God, this is a real thing that is serious, and oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, I'll talk about the UK in a bit. Fundamentally, it's not really known in the UK. So, I think in our defence, Mike, Christy and myself have been going to Nordic countries for this, swim running for 10 years, pretty much. I know you're probably not far behind that. And I never encountered it. So I think there's two factors here. The first is that you're going to a Nordic country, the last thing you think about that is any more hazardous than where you're from. So I never looked at any travel advice. That you in the small print, if you really look hard, you might be able to find something about TBE. And the second thing is, of course, because of that sort of culture of personal responsibility that most Nordics peoples have, they don't talk about it. You know, they have a vaccination scheme. You know, it's variously no or very low cost. I mean, it's seen as a serious public health matter for countries where there's a high risk, because notwithstanding fatality, that there's significant costs in hospitalising people. Some people have to retire, stop working straight away. Like 30% or so have to change jobs or go part-time.
Right.
I think
so it's pretty much
yeah.
So pretty much most Scandinavians or in those countries, most people will have this vaccine, do you think? And just like MMR or
yeah, I mean, if they're at risk, it's available, and there are information campaigns. Yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're constantly on it, Mike, because the vaccination time, it lasts like 3 years or so, particularly as you get older. So there's a need to keep up to date. Yeah. So most people would be aware and would be having this. If you get out into the environments where you might be exposed, and of course, if you're swim running, you've got largely bare legs. You may well have bare arms. You can't take some of the clothing precautions that would normally work against ticks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it does. Yeah, it does make you think about, certainly getting the vaccine.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
yeah, I mean, you're planning to go to Rockman, is that right? You get a,
yeah. Do you know? So we
yeah.
actually did Rockman again last year, and I am going to go back. I mean, some of that's a target for us, Mike. I mean, we've
Okay.
done the long course 3 times. You know, we're kind of obsessed with the place, really. So I wanted to have that as a target, but we've entered the sprint. You know, I know already. I absolutely know that I just there's enough impact of this disease that's long distances for us seem to be like something of the past. So we're targeting the sprint for Rockman. Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, if you're doing Rockman, um, you know, I mentioned about high risk areas. You know, the tick species that carries this, it needs humidity, grasses, and mammals that are the main hosts of the virus. So that's rodents like mice and lemmings and rats, or bigger like deer. Um, and pretty much, if you want to look at the areas of swim run interest and overlay the high risk, they can't just land on each other. Yeah,
Right. Right.
so
So
yeah,
is it Sweden, Finland, Norway? Is it
Baltic states as
well,
well.
right? Okay.
It's in parts of Switzerland, southern Germany, Slovenia,
Okay.
Slovakia. So I spoke to Attila, I mean, and I should say, because we'd been swim running around Stockholm, it's probably from Holland, but you know, it could have been from the Stockholm area. I spoke to the Attila team, and they have highlighted now, understanding that some countries like the UK and USA don't have any knowledge really of this disease in the
Mm-hmm.
medical community, and perhaps France as well. I think, and they know they've got an international participant list, so they've highlighted risk on the relevant races. So anyone who's entering an Ursula race for 26 will see that information, and a recommendation: there is a vaccine available, and you know
Mm-hmm.
that it's a high risk disease, so
Yeah.
makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know, Bill. And I'm glad that you seem to be recovering, or the
Yeah.
symptoms are getting better. Well, slowly.
Improving. They're
Yeah.
improving. Yeah. They're improving. And you know, 6 months ago, I didn't even know there was such a thing as neuropsychology. So I see a neuropsychologist to look at ways to kind of game the system. So I mean, unfortunately, once you're past 25, you don't grow new neurons. So the damage the virus does is done.
Right.
And what the brain does quite cleverly, it manages to remap. So functionally, things like balance came back within a couple of weeks. You know, it's almost as if there's this kind of subconscious priority to remapping the system. But things like the memory are quite hard. You have to be methodical in trying to retrain your brain.
God. Wow.
To, yeah.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Well, I should get that vaccine.
yeah.
It's a few £100s, I believe, in the UK anyway, isn't it? Something.
Yeah, it is, and probably the same in dollars in the States, I think. So it's it's quite you're going to have to ask for it, and you're going
Mm-hmm.
to have to check with a travel clinic whether they have it. So not all branches of national clinics have the vaccine. So, for example, if you're in Cambridge, where we are, Superdrug here doesn't have TBE, but Newmarket does. Um, and you'll find that kind of situation. Our local GP surgery has a travel clinic; they don't have TBE, so you're going to have to
Dig
hunt
around a bit.
around,
Yeah.
do a
Okay.
bit of research to find someone who's carrying it. Yeah, and So it's a 3 vaccination course. The first 2 give you that immediate immunity, and the longer term comes from having the booster. Yeah.
Okay.
So you kind of need to start, if you're going to go to Nordic countries or Engadin, maybe in 26, you need to be thinking about that now.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, a few £100 might, and it looks bad up front, but compared to the consequences that,
yeah, I guess it's obviously affected your work. I'm guessing.
I mean, fortunately for me, I had just stopped working full time.
Right.
So I'm firmly in the over 60s club. I wouldn't be able to work full time, Mike. Probably that would not be possible at all in the future. So
yeah, God.
I can only do part-time stuff now. I mean, that's the impact of the disease. Yeah. And when you look at, if anyone's looking at the symptoms, it's much worse if you're over 40.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of swim runners who are over 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for example, 1 or 2% of people have fatal outcomes. No one dies under 40. So if you do your maths and ratchet it up, it's quite a lot more dangerous as you get older.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that on the to-do list. But so another target for you, Bill. I see you've entered the Eliminator in Liverpool yet again. Yes.
It's dear to your heart, but we came to the first one, Mike. I think it's a great format. We loved it. And yeah, we came back last year, and we're coming back again.
Yes, 9th of May. I see there's a few Cambridge crew coming up, and I've altered the ladies' kind of way it plays out, really, just to even out the cut-off times. I want the men and women to race together, and you have to do that realistically. I was saying, how can I do this? So yeah, someone mentioned a short shoot option, and so on run 2, where you come out the first swim and you turn left, and then you go under that kind of veranda
overhang
area.
on the
Yeah,
building.
that's right. Yeah. And the normal course, you then come back over the bridge, the white bridge, footbridge, and then round to the next swim. The ladies are going to not go over the bridge; they're going to go straight down to the end swim entry. So it cuts about off run 2. It cuts about maybe 300 meters, 250 meters. Yeah, so I think it's going to work out.
I think that's a great idea, Mike. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and yeah, that's
every lap. Is that every lap?
Yeah, every lap. So they're going to have to. I mean, the fast people, ladies, I mean, will have to just really go slow on the first couple of laps, I think, just so they're not waiting around too much. So yeah, as long as people know that. I mean, it's only saving a minute and a half. I don't know what, whatever it saves, but the right amount of time. Yeah. So, should be fun.
I think that's great. I mean, it's exciting when you've got more people there, and I think particularly if you've got a big group starting, it means for the last 2 laps, unfortunately, most of us will have hit the wall on the clock time. So you've got a big group hanging around, which builds the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it'll be good. It'll be. It means then a woman can win overall. I potentially. So that kind of adds that spice to it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I can do that in Abu Dhabi. I mean, it could. It's be a bit trickier. We'll see. That's for June. That one.
It's a great format. I mean, we've already got 10 people from Cambridge that I know of coming up, so we're looking forward to it.
Brilliant.
And, I mean, anyone who's not done it, I think if you want to get into swim run, if you do aquathlons and you've got a bit of skill set there, this is is made for you.
Yeah, sure. And so So that's on your list this year. We talked a little bit about the kit, the little bits of kit that you've used over the years, because you've got a little bit of Reynards. Was that right?
Right, yeah, Reynard, yeah. So that was a consequence of COVID. So when myself and Chrissy, we've done plenty of cold water swimming. Yeah, I can't say it was great, but it never particularly bothered me. And then after I had a bout of COVID, next time I went into cold water, I started to get pain in my hands, and you'll have seen someone with it, or if you experience it, your hands go blue, but the tips of your fingers go white,
Yeah.
and it's pretty painful. I think the critical thing that I learned swim run, because initially you try and be a bit macho about it and you tough it out, is that once it sets in, you can't shift it. It's not at all like being a bit cold in the water and getting out and running it off. It's once you've let it get in you, it's a pain for the whole race.
And you can't get your paddles on probably. Your finger in the slot. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. Handling. You're dropping gels and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, which I mean, I can't afford to do that at the moment because one of the problems with the TBE is your coordination goes. So your hands are not in line with what your brain's thinking. So it's improving a bit. But early on, I've done hundreds of pounds worth of damage, like at home, dropping things.
All right. Oh God.
Because you go to complete a movement and somewhere in here says that's done. And it's not quite. You just let go and So any cooking, Chrissy will tell you, cooking was surrounded by expletives and things breaking on the floor. So even without Reynolds, I'm not great at opening stuff. But,
right.
Yeah. So lots of things come up with it. So I had to find a way to deal with it. And I think part of it's looking after your core. So I have got into these like neoprene undershirts. Various brands are available, but I think they're all pretty good, and that helps. That for me, the game changer, and I got this from Naomi Mellor that you may know from swimrunning, who gets Raynaud's pretty bad. She had some old surf clubs that she was using fully intact. And she very kindly let me borrow them for Rockman and trusted me to cut the tips off so you could better handle your equipment. So I carefully cut the tips off and try to take as little as possible and still handle the job. I wore those for the whole of Rockman. It was horrifically cold last year. Right. Didn't have a problem. Absolutely no problem whatsoever.
Brilliant. So just the very top, the very tip, was it, of the fingers that you cut? Okay.
And I think so. I had already tried like triathlon swimming gloves, but they have quite a long cuff, and that just didn't work with obviously, because if it's cold enough to wear gloves, you want to be wearing sleeves, and you couldn't easily get the sleeves over the sort of gauntlet part.
Okay.
And if you had that outside, then that was letting water in. The advantage of the surf gloves, they have quite a short cuff. So you put a watch goes over one cuff, and I used I've got like Help for Heroes band. You can use Rockman bands. I put them round the other, which sealed the base. And without the tips, you can then do what you need to do.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, I've got you've just reminded me, actually, I've got some old sea kayak mitts now. They're very unusual, neoprene, but the mitt's one piece, but you can pop your fingers out. There's like a hole in the palm, so it's like a mitt over, like almost like a hood for your fingers, which I've kept because I thought I don't do a lot of sea kayaking these days. But I thought maybe they'll be useful in a race one day. Anyway, I'll let you know if I don't know if
Yeah,
they would be because I couldn't. Well, you couldn't wear paddles with them really because of the nature of them. But
that's yeah. I mean, the other thing I'm going to try, which there's a French swim run team who do this, is I've bought some like the disposable nitrile gloves, but there's mechanic ones that are a bit thicker.
right, yeah,
So I'm going to have a try with those as well. You may see them appear at Eliminator.
okay, cool, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, game changer. That combination of the neoprene vest and the gloves just changed it for me. Yeah.
Cool. And how about the feet? Do the feet get cold at all?
Do you know, I don't quite understand why. Not obviously, not obviously. I mean, I've one of probably the only thing that we haven't changed in 10 years is we got into Go Coco socks, a Swedish sock brand, quite early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and they do have a woolen version you can wear of their compression long sock. But to be honest, I don't notice the problem with the feet.
Mm.
It's really the hands, you know. Um,
Yeah.
even the head. I mean, if it's really bitingly cold, so like remember the original Uta timing
Mm.
when the water would be like 8 degrees or even
Yeah.
less. Then I think maybe having a neoprene hat is good. But actually, I usually wear 2 swim hats. Works well
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, how are you able to train at the moment? What kind of?
I mean, it's embarrassing, really. Like so, I've compared to what we used to do. So I have started swimming, and it took me 7 sessions to hit the distance we did in that one day in Holland. So you can imagine
I mean,
it
yeah,
was
that's
hard
not
to get back
embarrassing, Bill.
into it.
That's not. It's
Yeah,
January. It's only January.
yeah.
It's only
So
January.
I know, but I'm getting back into the swimming, and I mean it's tiring, but I'm
Mm.
coming back into it. Running, you know, it took a long time before I even tried running, and that's a bit of pride because I knew it would be hard, and
Mm.
I knew it would be fatiguing. Um, so I've done only a couple of short, more like sort of walk runs, interval runs. But we do a bit of canicross with the dogs,
Cool.
which is naturally walk running. You know, inevitably they're stopping randomly, and that's how I'm finding a way back into it. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
serious running is a way away. But biking is a bit easier.
Okay.
You know, I feel more in charge of the
Okay.
effort exertion cycling.
Right. And is it obviously because you've not really been training in from a few months, haven't you? Like
Yeah.
September till December or something like
Well,
that.
yeah. So you know, as soon as I was ill, that's right. So
Yeah.
I did no training. Yeah.
So you fit. I mean, if anyone didn't do any training, obviously fitness goes. Do you think that there's obviously more to it than that with you, not just the lost fitness, but with the swimming, when you've done say 500 meters, do you just feel really tired? Like not because you know, just feel unfathomably tired, like ridiculously knackered.
Yeah. So it's a bit muddy like that. You're right, Mike. Obviously, so there's a natural loss of fitness, and you know, I mean, I'm old enough that there's a loss of performance anyway. That's kind of, you know, that's heavily age related. Um, the difference here that I'm experiencing is I'm beginning to get back on top of the swimming for sure,
Okay, cool.
but it's afterwards that's very fatiguing.
Right.
So you know, I'm kind of got over the bit where I'm knackered in the pool. It's more what happens an hour later or so. Yeah.
Do you have to? Still don't know that much, obviously, about TBE. But do you have to eat more? Because you're looking quite. I mean, I can't see all of you, but you don't look like you've put on weight.
You have to be so. I mean, Mike. I mean, you imagine I lost a lot of weight in the run up in the illness. So
okay. You can't eat, or you don't feel like eating.
I just didn't feel like eating, and it was very
okay.
Well, I had some obvious damage to cranial nerves. One of them innervates the tongue, so I couldn't taste anything on the tongue for the front part for weeks and weeks. So it wasn't a very even when I could eat, it wasn't a very enjoyable experience until that feeling came back.
Right.
And because of all the drugs that I'd had, you have this massive. You clean out all of your microbiome, which is obviously fashionable talk at the moment, but there's a lot more than what's in your guts. It's all over your skin and plays a role in keeping other microbes away. So I had eye infections and mouth infections and things like that just because there was no other organisms other than pathogens creeping in, nothing to compete with them. So yeah, so I actually lost a lot of weight over time, and then I did start to eat more to come back. Yeah,
right.
You have to be careful what you eat. Try and be smart. That's I pay even more attention now to what I eat. So,
okay. Yeah. So it sounds. I didn't know it had affected your taste as well as everything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, I was right on the edge of all of the worst consequences. So yeah, it's incredible how the nerves up here get affected, and yeah. But that's all behind me now, and it's going forward is good. And of course, I've got full natural immunity.
Right, I was wondering about that. Okay, so now you've had it. You're all good. You can't get it again.
Yeah, I'll be good. I mean, it'd be worth. So the immunity's not robust when you're over 60, but so I would have a booster perhaps. But this year coming, be fine. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I take it Chrissy's got the getting the vaccine.
She's in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been tough. I mean, it must have been. Did you have any? I mean, we love obviously racing, etc. In these great places. But do you have any negative or any resentment about the situation you found yourself in, or how do you?
That's a really, really good question, Mike. That's a great question. So, and quite genuinely, I don't. I mean, I trained as an entomologist originally, which is even more embarrassing that I wasn't aware of this virus. So, I can put the tick bite into neutral quite easily. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy about being ill and having the time off, but I mean, who knows whether some people get PTSD from their hospital experience. They almost expect you to get that with this type of illness. It's quite incredible. I've got a different scenario. So I've suddenly uncovered a bit of PTSD about a motorcycle accident I had 40 years ago. So I was in hospital 3 months with that. I was very seriously injured, and I still have some consequences from that. And that's the thing that's just comes to mind. This particular experience, somehow I've kind of seemed to be okay with it, But it unlocked, and apparently this is what the psychologists say. It's actually not unusual. You may be able to deal with what's just happened, but it could uncork something from some time ago. So,
God.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, it is really interesting. And we've all heard, most of the people in the UK have heard of Lyme disease, of course, especially of the outdoors people, and this is just completely different.
So, I should actually perhaps say a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course, we have Lyme disease here. This is a bacterial infection, and there's some important differences. So, if you were doing outdoor sports in the UK, Lyme disease bacteria sits in the guts of ticks, and the tick has to lock on and really create a feeding site before it's transmitted. So if you are aware that you've been bitten and you see the tick, I've always carried tick forceps with me, tweezers, you can pull it out by the mouth parts, and that should be fine. You may have up to 24 hours to do that. If you are infected with Lyme's, with a bacteria, you're likely to get an immune response in the skin. So you'll have heard of the bullseye, this reddening around the bite.
Yeah.
And do something about it straight away, because the antibiotics apparently work brilliantly, caught early. And unfortunately, if you aren't aware and you don't pick up the symptoms until months down the line, then they don't work as well, which is, I think, is the origin of some of the difficult stories with Lyme's. But yeah, if you're active and you see that bullseye or you see ticks, proper tweezers, get them out and get antibiotics. And I think that the important thing with virus that's different is it sits in the salivary glands of the tick. So when a tick's probing to try and get into you, it's transmitted.
This is the TBE. Yeah.
So the important difference, I never even knew I was bitten by a tick.
Okay.
So the virus is transmitted straight away. The tick's probing because it's coming out of its saliva. And I mean, I had, as you do in places like Finland, you're going to get midge bites and mozzie bites and stuff. So I had a few little red marks, but nothing that struck me as a tick. I never saw a tick on me. So, you know, just to be aware, if you have the kind of symptom sequence that I've talked through, that cold, flu, and then you get into kind of meningitis type symptoms, you must get some serious help straight away. Yeah. And then here is the shocker. So Lyme's is number one in the UK for sure. Be the same in the States. What's really interesting is that if you look at the maps that are available when you search for distribution of TBE in Europe, that the hotspots are Nordics and Baltics for sure. But it was first discovered in the UK in 2019. So they have had some human transmission, and that's in the New Forest, North York Moors, and in the Highlands. So the UK Gov sent out some entomologists to do some sampling, and they found the TBE virus in ticks, also in Thetford Forest and in the Hampshire-Dorset border. So not just swim runners, you know, imagine you're gravel biking or ultra running, anything where you've got some exposed skin and that involuntary potential exposure. You know, this could be a problem in parts of the UK as well, albeit the UK government describes it as a very low risk. But what we're talking about here, you imagine you're an ultra runner. I think in a place here where there is that tick and the virus, why are you not medium to high risk?
Yeah, it's very unlikely, but it's if it does happen, it is high risk. You know, the hazard is real. Yeah, but the likelihood is low. Yeah, okay. Well, very interesting, Bill. Very, very interesting, and it's good to get out, talk about it, because it's education, and it might help. I'm sure it will help some people.
I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity, Mike, to talk about it, because it will definitely help some people going forward, and not just UK, it'll be America and France and some other places as well.
Yeah. Well, all the French swim runners are under 40, aren't they? So they're okay.
And they go too fast anyway. There's no tick.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, Bill, thanks for coming on, and I have to say hello to Chrissy. Of course, I'll see you both in May, and I hope, yeah, let's keep in touch, of course, and yeah, all the best
Yeah.
for 2026.
Okay. Thanks again, Mike. Take care.
Thanks, Bill.